Hello everybody, welcome to the Thermomix virtual demonstration. Different experience. I'd love to be able to go to your home and do it in your homes, but with lockdown and all that's happening at the moment, we have to survive with these things. So my son is helping me out with the videography, and we're going to cook a chicken pasta dish. But before that, I'm going to talk a little bit about the Thermomix. Some of you have just received a Thermomix, a new Thermomix, and this is telling you all the little tips and thoughts about it. Others of you are thinking of getting a Thermomix, and seeing the demo, you'll see all the wonderful things it can do. So we'll start by showing you the machine itself. Here we are. It comes as it is. It's about it's delivered by courier. It takes 5 working days. The cost, as you probably know already, is €1,360. It does 14 different functions, and you can do away with most of the appliances in your kitchen. It just does everything. So I would say, first of all, when you unpack it carefully, put it somewhere in the kitchen where you're going to use it every day. Don't put it in a cupboard. Use it on your countertop, wherever that you use it every day. Put it near Wi-Fi, because it needs to be near wherever your modem, if your Wi-Fi signal isn't very good. However, if your signal isn't great, you can still download everything and you can still cook perfectly without Wi-Fi, because once you've downloaded things, they're on the screen. So here is the screen. So your Thermomix comes as it is with this. It also comes with the lid. Andrea is going to give me this is the internal steaming basket. So you can put things like baby new potatoes, rice, and just pop them in here, and they cook while you may have something else cooking above it. So that's called the internal steaming basket. You can also use this as a strainer or a colander. And this is the lid. The lid sits like this. It's got a mechanism that brings it, locks it immediately. And this is the little measuring cup. This also, just for your own use, it's 50 to here and 100 to here, 100 mils. So it's handy to use as a measuring device as well. Some of your recipes will ask you to take the measuring cup off, so you just take it off. Then it also comes with the Varoma, and this is the steamer. And this is fantastic for fish, for chicken. You can actually cook steamed puddings in it. You can do all kinds of things. So this, just for those of you who are starting with Thermomix, you leave the lid on when you're putting this, so it sits snugly into the lid. It's got, here is where you'd put your chicken or maybe your fish or something. If you're using fish and maybe having a soup underneath, just use parchment paper wrapped in a little bit of water, and squeeze it out and line it, and then none of the juices will fall down into your soup. Then there's another little tray here. So this would be for maybe asparagus, courgette if it's finely diced, or carrot or something, but it must be quite fine, because it'll do peas, it'll do anything like that that's not too dense. And then this is your lid that goes on top of it. So that's the Varoma unit. Then you also have the spatula, which comes. Now the spatula is fantastic because it doesn't reach the blades. So if you're muddling something, for example, when we're making a sorbet, which we're going to do shortly, you can, with confidence, you can muddle away without the actual, it doesn't reach the blade, so there's no worries. Then this is the butterfly whisk, and the butterfly whisk is for egg whites or cream whisking. Sometimes if you're doing a light sponge, you might use this. And the one thing that you must remember about this is you can't go beyond speed 4. We'll be talking about the speeds in a few moments, but just remember that, because that's the most important thing about that. The other thing to mention is the scales are set at the bottom of the Thermomix, so be very careful to lift it rather than dragging it, because it is sensitive. This is the new model, which was brought out last July or June, and it connects directly to Wi-Fi. It also has a whole lot of new functions like fermentation, sous vide, yogurt making, rice cooker, everything. So it has a lot of properties that the previous ones didn't have. You also get the book there, The Simple Idea, that book. This book comes with the Thermomix. And this is a fantastic book. I urge you to read it through, because there's loads of tips, and everything that's in it is also, it isn't really a recipe book, it's more like pictures, because all your recipes are coming up on your screen, so you don't actually need recipe books. However, you can get recipe books and they're all available. You can buy them from Thermomix if you prefer the comfort of reading a book. But you don't need it because they are all on the screen. So that's the machine itself. Vorwerk is a German company. They're in production for over 100 years. This is the 8th generation model. They started as a blender, but now it's this fantastic, sophisticated machine. There are new modes which will be available on this machine. So if you purchase this machine, you're getting all that comes with it, but there's also exciting new modes that will be coming in the next few months that'll just attach onto your machine as it happens. The jug itself is stainless steel, good for, you can put it in the dishwasher. It's fantastic, it almost self-cleans. You can put in water, a drop of fairy liquid, and put it on speed 6, 60 degrees for a few minutes or a few seconds, and it cleans itself. However, if you have something dense like risotto or something like that where it gets, then you actually do need to take the blades out. So just get used to, when you get your Thermomix, get used to opening and closing and taking the blades. The way to do it is turn it upside down, hold the blade in your hand, and with your other hand just flick with your thumb, take the base off, and there you are. And they can all go into the dishwasher. So I'm just going to put it back now like that. So I never said, my name is Maria Nolan, and the reason I got a Thermomix was about 8 years ago. My mother-in-law, who's now 101 nearly, decided she wanted to get me a present. She had seen an article in the British Times magazine, a chef who had won a Michelin star, and asking him what was the item that he couldn't do without, and he mentioned a Thermomix. And she was a very keen cook herself, so she'd never heard of it, and neither had I. So she did a bit of research, and so did I, and she bought it for me. And that was not the predecessor to this, but the one before that. So I've grown along with the Thermomix, and I became an advisor about 2 years ago, and I just love it. I love showing people what a wonderful machine it is. When you get your Thermomix, you get a subscription to Cookidoo, which is the online recipe platform. So that every recipe that's in every collection and every book is available on Cookidoo. You can have it on your phone, you can have it on your iPad. I have it here on the iPad. You can curate your own collections. You can use like folders. I have one for barbecue, for Friday evenings, for dinner parties, and your recipes stay in that. There's also another mode called Recently Cooked, and you can just press that button and anything you've cooked, we'll say the last 100 things you've cooked, will all come up. So it's very quick to do that. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you the buttons on the machine. So here we are. As I was saying, we've got my recipes, my week, recently cooked. So recently cooked, you just press that, and these are all the things that I've cooked in the last couple of days. So you can also go back to my recipes. So as I was saying, the creative collections, this is what I've done: barbecue, breakfast, Christmas, demo, dinner party, gifts to bring people. Let's have a look at that. So there you could oatmeal bars, pesto, hummus, little buns, all these kind of things. So you have all of those. So then your home button is just these 3 buttons, and the basic thing, these are, first of all, you have the time. So this is the timer, and by just turning the button, you're setting your time. Then the second one is the temperature. Turning, you can go right up to, you can go to 40, which is great for melting chocolate and soft things that you'll never be able to do as accurately with a saucepan or anything like that. Right up to soups and that, 110, and then up to Varoma. 120, by the way, is a rolling boil, so that's probably the hottest, and then the Varoma is the steamer. So then the third one is the speed of the blades. So this is from a gentle stir. Sorry, no lid detected, that's okay. So it goes from a gentle stir to right up to whisking, to chopping nuts, to chopping vegetables, right up to blending. And it's a really good industrial blender. You'll get a very glossy, smooth soup with it. So they're the 3 buttons. Now, if you have your own favorite recipe that you want to cook, you can just go ahead using your own cookery books. Once you get the hang of this, I would suggest cook a few soups, and then if you have your own favorite recipe, you just use these as an unguided thing. So you just set your time for, we'll say you want to sweat onions, so you set it for 4 minutes at 110 at a speed of 1, then you blend it. So you'll get the hang of it yourself. So we're going to start, first of all, I'm going to show you, we have Parmesan cheese here, and I just want to show you, you know yourself how long it would take to grate a thing of Parmesan. Well, the Thermomix will do it in such a short time. So you can actually put the rind in, so that's more economical. A lot of people buy Thermomixes because of the economy. You can make all your own produce, you can make your own sauces, you can make your own tomato ketchup, your mayonnaise, your pestos, your chocolate sauce, you can make your own Nutella, you can make your own oat milk, you can make, they're just marmalades, jams, everything. So I'm going to put just roughly chop like that into the Thermomix. Putting my lid on, you get me a container to put it into when I finish. Putting the lid on, and I'm going to go turning. I don't need to do the time, I don't need to do temperature because I'm not using either of those. So I'm just using the speed of the blade. So I'm going right up to 10. So this is going to be very noisy to start with, and it's just for. Now, I'm just going to show you this. There's a delaying mechanism in the lid just so that if there's something very hot, that it won't spill out and hurt you. So there's our grated Parmesan. See how easy that is? So that was just to show you the Parmesan. I'm putting that aside.